calling.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Group Chat Calling Podcast. It's your host, Winter Jewelle, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host today. I'm Honey Kale and Deke, aka Deasia Keel, aka all the other names we love to call her. So it's a little bit different. This episode is a themed episode dedicated to all of the mothers. This is our Mother's Day episode. So we're just going to take a moment. Everybody's going to unmute themselves and we're just going to say a quick Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Yes, Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, Winnie.
Oh, thank you. Happy Mother's Day, Dee.
Thank you. Exactly. Happy Mother's Day to the real mom, for real. Period. Period. Doing that thing.
Because we do this for real every day, day in and day out.
Yes,
I don't get days off. She don't go to her father's house. Pull up my notes.
Yeah, I was over here looking at the questions and I'm like, I don't know. Girl, me too.
Me either. That's why I sent them. I was like, okay, we gonna need time to think about this.
Like, these are hard.
I feel like any question related to moms, though, is hard for me specifically. Because my mom be talking. She say a lot of stuff.
Well, my mom listens to this the episode, so I want to make sure
too.
I don't really care. Not that I don't care, because I only can speak my own truth on here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't speak for anybody else. So, in a way, like, obviously I care and respect how she feels about things, but also I want to freely speak my truth without feeling, worried.
All right, well.
All
right, y'all. So today's episode is going to be very short and sweet. We are taking a moment to talk about the women who really played a pivotal part into making us who we are today. Now, with that being said, we're going to start off real lighthearted. You know how I like to give it up. How's everybody feeling today? How are we doing?
I'm just glad I got through the day. I'm just happy it's over, but
amen.
Like I got to do it again tomorrow.
Amen. Say amen.
It's okay. Honestly, today was actually a pretty decent day. The week is going by nicely. I feel like I have to, like, when we're recording this, May is like tomorrow. So it's like, I feel like a lot of things that I'm trying to check off and make happen. So I'm just kind of doing a lot of pre-planning and working and things like that. So, my brain's just a little busy. But yeah, it's going. In a good way. Amani, the way you're eating these chips, bro.
They look good, girl. They look good.
Are you kidding me? That was really crazy just now. That was crazy.
It's like you always forget that you're on camera. Like, we can actually see you, even though everybody else can't. We can.
Like, clear as day.
You know what? I'm going to be like Winter today.
No, don't do that, because I'm not talking to nothing.
Like, turn that thing back on.
Now we on the phone.
Right, now we on the phone, which is dangerous. Okay? But all right, let's go ahead and jump into today's conversation. Let's start it off sweet. What is the funniest thing your mom has ever said or did? And I know for a lot of our mothers, that list is very long. So pick one that quickly comes to mind.
The one thing that my mom did that was very funny that I feel like I would remember like forever is, long story short, it was my mom and my dad. And there was one time, I don't even know if it was around the 4th of July or not, but like people were doing like fireworks and stuff, near our house, and they were inside and they thought the fireworks were like gunshots. And I wish that they sent me the video of the Ring camera, but they didn't. Like, they knew that I was gonna post it. Because the way that they looked, bro, was crazy. Like, they literally like was sliding down. Like, they slided down, crawling on the floor. I would never forget. Never forget. That was probably the funniest thing ever.
And now, why didn't they send you the video?
Bro, because they knew I was going to post.
They could have sent you that video.
We could go viral with this video.
And could have. They scared of the money.
Mm-mm. Just don't make no sense. They don't even know for real.
Mm-mm. Deke, what about you?
Honestly, I feel like it's very hard for me to pinpoint the funniest thing that my mom has said, because she's kind of fun. Like, I think she's funny. Like, I feel like I'm always laughing at her, like,
She's
every day.
hilarious.
So it's
She's
like,
hilarious. I agree.
to pinpoint a specific thing, I'm not sure, but like that she said. But what I tell you, I'm going to post a new like TikTok of her for Mother's Day, and it's one of the funniest videos I have. I hope she's not mad, but she's not gonna know until it's posted anyway. But and she's doing this, like, you know, the shoo dance, and she was trying to figure it out. It was the funniest video that I feel like I've seen lately, from like a few years. It's old. It's from years ago, but still, I think is really funny.
Mm-hmm.
But when
I feel
it
like
comes
I
to her,
remember that video though. I feel like I remember that. I don't know if you sent it in the group chat.
I feel like I just showed you guys recently.
Maybe,
I probably just sent it.
maybe. Either way, she's gonna have a ball when she sees that, and not in the best way at first.
Not at all.
Yo, seriously. She definitely is about to text in the group chat after she sees that.
Oh,
and
immediately. Immediately. And then she gonna blame us for letting her post the video.
Exactly.
Yes.
I already know what's coming.
Okay. We're prepared. We know what's coming. As for me, my mom isn't, I wouldn't say she's funny per se, but she's definitely like the unexpected goofy. Like, she's the mom who will walk in the room and like unprompted, unprovoked. I ain't seen you all day. Where did you come from? And just stand there and stare at you. But like, not in like a creepy way, like just to see what your reaction is going to be. Or she's a mom that'll just walk into your room, again, unprovoked, and just start dancing. Like dances you would prefer your mom to not do. And most people don't expect that from my mom. But in the house, she is really a goofball. Like, really a goofball. So yeah, anytime she's walked into my room unprovoked and decided to do anything that she thought would be funny, it was actually funny, because why are you doing that? Quite literally, why are you doing that? You're a mother. Why are you doing that? All right. So, moving on to the next question. Any mom quotes that you now find yourself repeating? I'll go first. I think for me, one of the biggest ones is just say okay. My mom used to tell me that all the time, because y'all know I will argue somebody down in a heartbeat. I tell my daughter about 11,000 times a day, just say okay. You can ask me the questions after, but just acknowledge that you heard me. Please, just say, like, just say okay, and then you can ask the why, when, why, oh, like after. So that's the first one. And then the second one is probably, child, anyways.
Yeah. Yo. Mm-hmm.
I run that one down.
What I caught myself saying recently, my mom posted a video of Snow on Instagram of her like in Vaseline. And she had Vaseline all over herself, all over the couch, all over her hair. And my mom was like, why do you have this? Blah, blah, blah. And I found myself, sure enough, commenting, she didn't mean it. I feel like my mom always said that.
Oh, yeah. Still to this day. She's the she didn't mean it, he didn't mean it queen. That is crazy.
So when I said that, I really was cracking up laughing, because that's definitely from her.
And my girl meant that. She did that on purpose.
No,
I wanted to feel good. She did that on purpose.
She definitely did. She definitely did. I feel like something my mom would say, I feel like she still says it now, but not as much. But I be saying it now, to disrespect.
You say that all the time.
Literally,
all the time.
I feel like you never not say that.
Literally. And sometimes it really don't be disrespect. She just be saying it just to say it.
But I think it's also funny is because you guys say it differently, like in different tones and pitches. So like you've taken
No
it
facts.
as your own and made it your own twist to it. Because you always say it with this deep down low voice.
Bro.
And hers is not like that. Hers is normally laughing. Like she be laughing like, the disrespect. Like I can hear her doing that, you know?
It's you opening and closing the bottle on the mic. What is going on? No, at the end of this year.
I keep forgetting that how good this mic is at it. Like
for her birthday, we need to do a montage of all of the chewing sounds, us commenting on her eating, the bags crinkling, the cups being put, all of it.
Lately, it's been you clearing your throat. I've been having to cut out you clearing your throat every episode, probably a couple times an episode. It's crazy.
Clearing my throat?
I need you to
like
stop.
Itching it?
You be like, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and then and da-da-da-da. I'm gonna need you to stop doing that.
You're supposed to be doing that off the mic, girl. Off the mic. Cleared
like,
and
we talked about muting etiquette. Like,
no, I think that would be hilarious. But you probably deleted all those clips, haven't you?
We still have the raw.
Oh, okay.
Uncut one.
Yeah, we need to remember that. That'd be hilarious. All right. So she didn't mean it, and the disrespect. Got it.
No way. It's the way you just said it that got me weak.
Because you didn't mean it. You didn't mean it. And the disrespect.
Exactly.
Both are true. Okay. Thank you, mothers. We appreciate y'all for those.
We do.
They came in handy quickly. All right, let's see. One life lesson you carry from your mother or a mother figure, because we're talking about mothers. We're talking about mothers, okay? So your mother or another mother figure. See, what had happened was I struggled with answering this one.
I was going to say for me, there's like so many things I'm still currently learning about her and from my mom. And a lot of it is just by me watching and noticing from a like actual like third party, like completely watching her and how she's growing, how she's learning and like in all those ways. So I feel like because it's something that I'm continuously doing, I don't have some specific lesson that I'm fully set on. I will say something that I've for sure learned is to show up for people, but also, you know, take time for yourself. And I learned that from watching her show up all the time and learning like also what I didn't want to do based on watching that, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of my lessons are like looking at what's going on and then I just kind of adjust it for what I would prefer and move on like that, if that makes sense. But yeah, that
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a life lesson in general that every new adult, young adult, whatever terminology wants to be used, should learn. Because there comes a point in our lives where you can no longer say, well, that's how my mom did it, or that's how I was raised. That is not an excuse. That is not a rationale. That is not a reason. At some point in time, you need to be able to look and see the way that you've been raised. Take what works, leave what doesn't. Take what you want, leave what you will, because you cannot copy and paste, because nothing will ever change. And you will later on in life be looking back saying, I'm just like my mother. And that's a negative thing. But you never want to be a copy and paste. You always want to be better than the generation before you. That is the message. That is the lesson. Okay. Monty, what about you, girl?
Wow. That was just great.
Anti-ways.
Great. This is just gonna be real short and cute because that's what it is. The lesson that I've learned is live your life.
Period.
Live your life, because sometimes make sure, actually not sometimes, but make sure you ready to do and take that next step. Period.
Yeah.
Try to plan, because just everything happens so fast, and You just make
Life just gonna keep
decisions.
on life. She said, if you don't figure it out, life will figure it out for you. Pretty much. That's the message here, people.
Yes. Yes. It's like, dang, but what if, like, you think about a what if, like, how your life would be if you was in this shoes, but then you'll be like, dang, like, but how would life be if I was in this shoes?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you'd be like, all right, let's vary out. Everybody's different for me.
Right. So live your life for you.
Trying to live my life.
I think that's
that's
valid. That's something everybody should be doing, even though most people don't for the earlier parts of their life.
Yes. Yes. And sometimes they just need reminders.
Very true. Very true. I like both of those. I do. As for me, I'm going to start with a mother figure. My godmother truly taught me one of the greatest life lessons, and that's how to carry your partner, how to carry your significant other. And not to say that you're putting them on your back and carrying the load, but just how to support them, how to be there for them, how to show up for them, but also how to represent them in spaces where it's not just you and said partner. There are so many life lessons that I have learned from my godmother when it comes to life, love, and relationships. And to take it out of the romantic sphere, it also goes for friendships. Basically, the biggest rule of thumb is I support you in public, but I'm gonna let you know about yourself in private. I'm not gonna embarrass you. That's the number one thing. Never embarrass you, but I'm also not gonna hold my tongue because I want for you to be better and I need to let you know when you're wrong. But I'm not gonna have you out here humiliated in front of all of these other people. Right? So that's like the number one rule of thumb, and that goes for all of my relationships with all my people, but especially with my significant other. And being able to talk. One thing my godmother is never going to shy away from is saying what she want to say. She gonna say some things that you wish she would have just held that for later. It might have been a joke, but it's still like, dang, it's people here. And then from my actual mother, I learned the art of communication. My mother is one of the most articulate people, if not the most articulate person I have ever encountered in my entire life. And I credit a lot of my ability to vocalize my thoughts, feelings, and just move through the world very logically. Not to me being a Capricorn, despite the major belief, but to who my mother actually is. And she is an air sign. So to all of you who want to talk about horoscopes and astrology, rationalize that for me. But yeah, from my mother, I learned the art of communication and the importance of it. But above all else, I learned the importance of being empathetic. Being raised by somebody who is incredibly articulate, oftentimes the conversation moves from the emotion of the moment, which is the actual problem, to the logic of it. And so I move through a lot of my life logically. And I have to, I realize a lot of people will put up a wall or armor and hide behind a facade. Some people will be excessively angry when that's not really their true emotions. Some people will be excessively stoic and that's not their true emotions. My mother truly taught me how to not only read people and their intentions, but to be able to grasp onto how they feel in any given moment. So that way I can show up as the version of me that they need in that moment. So thank you to Mama for that. Okay, let's see. Piggybacking off of that, when did that lesson that you mentioned actually click in for you? Like at what age or what monumental moment, or just maybe it wasn't all that monumental. Maybe you was driving in a car and you said, well, wait a minute, that actually makes sense.
I don't know. I feel like it hit me when I got older, for sure. Like at first I was just feel like I already had my life. Like the plan, like the life that I planned to like want at a certain age was like so not what I want anymore. Like I was just like, this is what I want. I'm like, actually, where I'm at right now, I'm like, we're gonna have to push this back a little bit and then move that back. Like I can't, like too quick for me. Like I need a things was added to the agenda and it just needs to be rescheduled.
Okay. And so was it the life resistance that you feel like kind of kicked that into gear? Like, yeah, I got to do this on my timing.
D, why are you laughing?
D, I'm trying to help her.
Because I don't know what the heck she just was talking.
She said that when she got older is when it clicked in. That's what we focusing in on. All the other stuff,
Yes.
we trying to root through it right now. Laugh off screen.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
distracting.
I'm so sorry. I was really so confused. I was trying to pick it back up, but I couldn't. So a few years ago, I just watched my mom go through a lot. Like during COVID, it was the year that I moved out. So 5 years ago now, I moved out. So that allowed me to view my mom in such a different light because for my entire life, obviously, I was living with her. Well, I guess that's not really obvious because that's not for everybody. But for me, I lived with my mom for the entirety of my life up until that year. So I spent the past 5 years really getting to know her as a different person than I grew up watching. So around that time, in the beginning, you know, of COVID, there was a lot going on during the pandemic. I feel like mentally just checked out, like, and that was pretty much for everybody. It was just a lot being isolated and feeling that you needed to be isolated, and all of that stuff played a big part. But for the first couple of years, I really never paid attention to it. I will say, once the year that I was turning 25, so that was 2022. That year, I would say, is when I started to have this realization because of just my mom and seeing her as like a regular person, human, and it allowed me to be more open to what she was actually doing and viewing it in a way where it's like, okay, she's learning this lesson like on her own as well. Like she's living this life for the first time. So if I'm watching her and seeing things that I didn't agree upon, I'll be like, okay, well, for me, I'll make sure I don't do it like this, that, and the third. But that really started a couple years ago. I would say around 3 years ago now. That's when I really started to lock into that energy. I don't know if that comes at younger times, but I feel like a 25 is a reasonable age to kind of recognize how, you know, your parents.
Yeah. I think for everybody it's different. Because for me per se, like I knew at a very, very young age, once again, because my mom is very articulate. So she'll have conversations with me from a very young age, speaking to me as if not I'm her peer in the sense of, hey girl, but in the sense of she's not talking to me in baby language. She's speaking to me how she would articulate this to somebody who she's telling her life story to. So I was always able to see my mother as, not always, I'm lying. When I found out what her actual government name was, that's when I said, oh, y'all be lying. She not just my mom. She was something before she was my mother. And that's when I started to look at her from the kid lens of, I don't know this woman. Her real name is not even mommy. That's crazy. So then I started to pay more attention to her actions and how she behaved when she wasn't speaking to me or how she would talk to other people versus how she talked to me. So from a young age, I was able to decipher that my mother is my mom, but she's also the woman. But a lot of people don't experience that until they're older. And I think 25 is a very reasonable age because for you, that's when you first left the nest officially. Like college doesn't count because we're still very reliant on our parents. And when we go home, we still don't have our own. We're going back to our mother's home. So when you were fully out on your own and you no longer relied on her as mom, provider, nurturer, in totality, it was more so just to whatever capacity she's going to do it for the rest of your life because she is your mother. It makes sense for it to click then and see her no longer as just mom, but as the woman that she is. So that makes sense.
I feel like also from my perspective of viewing my mom growing up, she truly just kept a lot of things to herself. So like if she was dealing with stuff or going through stuff, she really wouldn't express that or like say that. She just like kind of thugged it out. Like you could tell obviously if things were bothering her, but like she just thugged out whatever she really thugged out, you know? So I never really got to see her be a human basically because I've only seen her, I guess, like not only, but like mainly saw her strong side. And just like her loving side of always showing up, always being there at each and every event or sports game or whatever it is, but also her like sternness about what she needed to do to maintain to make sure that we were good and how much she cared about that. So it's like I saw her basically as like a superhero in a way where it's like not realistic, obviously, because it's not fully her, but it's just like a kind of like a fantasy, basically. Like a small portion of it could be described as like a fantasy like version of her because she,
I get that.
The other side of her wasn't like that. So it's like I just never really got to see that. And
honestly, I love that perspective of you like saying that she is your superhero because I feel like I really look up to my mom, honestly. Like I feel like she it's like I didn't see it at first, like bringing back to her always telling me to like live my life and do these things like to get to where I want to be. I really didn't understand it or how to put it together in like a puzzle, but like now everything is like clicking together as I got older. And I feel like if it wasn't for her to like show me the way of how to do exactly what I wanted to do, then I would be struggling.
Oh, that's so sweet, girl.
I'm about to start getting emotional.
Now she about to cry. It's okay. Pass her a tissue, D.
But honestly, I feel like I got older and my mom would always be like, I was never your little friend. And honestly, she's like my best friend.
Girl,
like
that part.
She's like my best friend. Like, oh, do you remember all the times that you would be like, I'm not your little friend? And look at us now.
No, she really is like your best friend.
Looking at each other at the view, taking pictures because she loves to take pictures. But honestly, now I realize I try not to get as mad anymore because I understand why for all the pictures. It's so many memories, bring back
those are the memories that we look back on now, right?
Honestly, before I used to get so upset when she used to want to take pictures all the time, but now I'm like, okay, I understand. I'll take the picture.
Yes, girl. Yes, girl. I love that though. Maybe I was just a nosy child because I was all up in everybody's business. Like maybe not eavesdropping per se, but I was always watching people because you talk to your kids one way, but then you turn around and it could be a best friend and you're having a whole different conversation. Like I've always peeped stuff like that. My mom is definitely the blueprint. I always said up until the point that I got into the relationship that I'm in now, if the world was ending and everything was on fire, if I could get to my mom, I would be okay. Granted, we still probably gonna die, but I would be okay. I wouldn't be panicking. I think for a very long time, like my mother was that grounding point for me, and she still very much so is, but it's just not with everything. There's some things that only a mother can touch upon and nurture and speak to. And I think that goes for every human being, which is why having a mother figure, if you don't have your mom in your life, is also very important. But my mother is definitely the blueprint for me. It's definitely the the woman that she is and the way that she's lived her life and the core values that she's instilled in me and she's exemplified throughout her life, definitely it's not cut and paste, but you could see it was inspired by. That I will definitely say. But yeah. Ooh, girl, you done made that so emotional anyway. This leads to the next question perfectly. When did you first realize your mom was human? And I know we kind of already touched upon it, but just from the lens of that actual question, when did you realize that your mom was human? Not a superhero, not just your mother, but her government name. She has a whole entire life and a whole entire being, interests, views, loves, passions, goals, outside of just being your mom. When did that click for you?
I feel like that clicked for me just off of venting to my mom more. Like, I feel like as I got older, me and her relationship got very like so strong to the point where it's like ain't nothing stopping us, because we don't even like, before I feel like we used to always bump heads, but now that I'm older, like it doesn't really happen. Like, it doesn't happen like at all, to be honest, now that I think about it. But I feel like she and I, like, we vent a lot to each other now. We go out on like dates and stuff like that every Thursday. Like, we usually like have like a set date on when we go, like go to a restaurant or just sit down and talk, honestly. 'Cause sometimes we don't even be hungry. We just want to be sitting down and probably get a drink or
No,
something.
you don't even be hungry. I know that's right.
Like, seriously, like, because honestly,
It's just
I
for
be
the
eating.
company.
Exactly. So I feel like her just talking to me more, like, I realized that like the stuff, like, sometimes like me growing up, the stuff that I went through, she probably went through 10 times worse. And like her just telling me stories and stuff like that, I realized like, dang, like that's crazy. Like, I would never even have thought that that would be something that you go through, but it is. And it really made me realize how like crazy, like, I don't know, like I feel like the stuff that happens, I wish like I was older or like I understood at that time. You know what I
Girl,
mean?
I get it. I've even gone so far to say that if I could have spoken to God when he was bringing my mom down to earth, I would have volunteered to be her mother and then in my next life forgot about it and been her daughter again. I get it.
Yes,
I get
yes.
it.
That's
Because
exactly
my
what I wish.
Shayla, girl.
No.
Ooh, but okay, yes. Deke, what about you?
I guess to me, I feel like I've always pretty much known that my mom was like a person. I feel like because I was a child growing up, did I pay attention to it or have it be in the top of my brain all the time? Absolutely not. I brought this up before, but I was watching an episode of one of my favorite podcasts I listened to called Pretty Basic, and when they were talking about their moms and like adults or their grandparents, how they realize that they only lived this life one good time, that's all they got, like they're living it this, for the first time. After that, I was like, that was like a full change in my brain for me after listening to that episode, because then I realized that I should value it more, although I probably never thought to value it before, but I should value it more, one. And especially just allowed me to try to be a more gentle with both of my parents, not only my mom. I know it's Mother's Day episode, but both. But even more my mom, because it allowed me to have a different respect for her than I've had before having that realization.
I love that. It's so crazy the different perspectives you can get just from looking at things more holistically, like looking at just observing people. But yeah, I get that. For me, I would say, I think I already touched upon this. It was definitely when I found out that her name wasn't Mommy. It just did something to my little heart. I don't know,
Yeah.
because at that age, you couldn't tell me that my mom's name wasn't Mommy. And I am, I'm confrontational. Not in the sense of I want to fight over everything, but I'm not going to shy away from confrontation. So it's me, little me, 4 or 5, however old I was, maybe 6, arguing with this grown man, my godfather, about what my mom's actual name was. Like, I mean, arguing him down. Like, how you going to tell me what my mom's name is? I know what my mom's name is. She's been my mom for 5 years. Like, that type of neck popping, finger pointing. I know what I'm talking about. Go to ask my mom, Mommy, what's your name? Because such and such is saying that your name isn't Mommy. She goes, well, my name isn't Mommy. My name is actually. And I said, well, god dang. Something ain't right here.
Yo, I
Something
feel like I
ain't
can just picture
right.
that whole like scene, just now, like facial expression, everything.
Like, I mean,
because
deflated. Because I was just so certain. And it was from that point on that I was like, okay, well, hold on. People know stuff about my mom I don't know. Wait a minute. So then I started watching everybody, because people live many different lives in one lifetime. Your best friend has a side to her or him that you never get to see because you're never in that space with them. The woman or the man that they are at work is not the woman or the man that they are at home, at the club, on the FaceTime, group chats. Very different. So it was a realization that my mom is not just mommy that triggered, maybe she's more than just my mom. So yeah, young girl, young. All up in people business ever since then.
like I got to know.
Yeah,
I don't need to know. I just need to be able to feel you.
I feel like that is so well, not interesting, but it's just such a different perspective to have at a younger age, for sure, because I was not worried about that one bit. Like, oh, your name is not Mommy, okay. Like, and kept it pushing. I think it's also because I probably learned it at such a young age. It sounds like you learned it when you were a little older compared to me. Like, I feel like everyone in my family teaches at a young age our names. Like, Snow already knows both of our names. And I think that's just because that's what they do. So I don't know if
I think that's probably the age where
you remember
like
it the
my
most.
reasoning kicked in. Yeah.
Okay.
Because nobody was calling my mom Mommy. Like if they were talking to me, they would say, go give this to Mommy, because I was the child calling my dad by his government name. Because people would say, go give this to HK. And I would say, hey, HK, here. Nana told me to give this to you, HK. And so then they started redirecting because they're like, okay, she's literal. She's very literal. Go get us to daddy. And then I started calling him daddy. But like the first year that I was talking, I was not calling that man dad. So I think that's just the age where things started just to click. Like I started to actually think for myself at 5. As opposed to digesting what's been given to me, if that makes sense. But we all know I've also been like hyper cognizant and irrationally logical for a vast majority of my life. So it might just be me, and that's okay. But yeah, what do you appreciate now that you didn't understand before? And I want to make this a little bit more specific about your relationship with your mom, not just something that she did, even though that I think is a really good conversation as well. But what do you appreciate now more when it comes to your actual relationship with your mom than, how you appreciated it when you were younger? I can actually start with that one because that one is at the tip of my tongue. And I talked about it a lot already during this episode. The way that my mom would never just let things be. You can't just tell my mom, I want to go to such and such's house. Or I want to go get this dress for prom. She want to know why. She want to know who making the dress. She want to know what's the material of the dress. She wants to know, why am I choosing that dress over a different dress? She wants to know how many times I've tried it on, when I plan on. Like, having a mom who will really get into the nitty gritty, and like she was never one of the moms who you could just say something to her and she'll just skate over it. Like a lot of people I feel like talk at their moms. Like their moms are not just like not interested in what their kids have going on. And it's many different reasons why a lot of moms are overworked and overwhelmed. But my mom, no matter how overworked or how overwhelmed she was, because Lord knows she was, bless your heart, mommy, we appreciate you for everything you did, girl, and everything you're doing, Bookie. But no matter how tired she was still going to get into it because she always wanted to make sure that her children had the best. And when I was younger, that was so annoying. I'm not even going to hold you. I was so tired of the questions just because I want to. That's why, because I want to. I have my own job. I've been making money since I was 15. It wasn't consistent until I turned 16, but this is my money. I worked for it. I want to buy it because I want to. But now it makes me think for the most part because I can be impulsive sometimes. But it does make me take pause. It makes me take pause more often than I think I would naturally by myself because I am emotionally impulsive. When I'm upset about something, I'm going to go do something to make me feel better. So I'm very grateful that my mother is the mom that's going to make me take pause. It's paid off in the long run. Yes, girl. Woosa. Woosa.
Honestly, I was going to say the same thing when it came down to the questions because I feel like my mom, one thing about it, she would never miss when it came down to a question. Like, ain't no way, like, I already know something's not right if she's not asking me a question about something because it just, she always has to ask. And I'm like, I don't understand what she's asking. And now that I think about it, she had valid points. Or even sometimes when she will be like, no, she doesn't. She think like just like off of, she'll just tell me, her opinion. And I'll be like, honestly, that was a valid point. At first I didn't see it, but now I see it. So it's like, I appreciate the times that she would tell me her opinion and what she thinks about this. And like, I feel like she just sees how I go off of that. And, sometimes I'll go off of it. Sometimes I didn't. But that's another thing she taught me was learn from my mistakes. You do it. It's okay. Don't do it again.
Yes, girl. Yes, girl. I think it also helps in the professional world, though, too. Like our interactions as we've grown older, I feel like I had an earlier start to be able to have that kind of back and forth dialogue and not get super defensive and offended or like take offense to everything that somebody says if it's pushback. Like sometimes it is just because I said what I said. I still am going to get my way, but we can have the conversation. You can ask the questions. So I think it also helped in the long run in that sphere of the world because Lord knows, why are you questioning me? That could have been the route that I took.
Yo, for real. Another thing she would say was, kill them with kindness. That's another thing that I've been saying as well.
Kiss of
kill
sugar.
Them with kindness.
Kiss of sugar. I ain't learned that one until recently.
I like that one too.
Yeah. Well, my family from the South, so it was kiss of sugar. It's kiss of sugar.
I never heard it, but I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Girl.
Real short, real sweet.
Zeke, what about you?
So for me, I definitely appreciate the fact that we can communicate pretty well. I feel like obviously because I saw her in a certain way growing up and basically in a way of not really communicating like how she feels and things because she was just like on go all the time. Now being at this stage, I'm able to have a relationship with her that is one where we like, challenge each other because we are able to communicate like our thoughts, our perspectives and things like that. So it's while I'm also learning how to be confident with that within myself, I'm also building that part of our relationship as well. And I really do appreciate having the ability to do something like that, even if has come later in time. I feel like it's come at the perfect time, but it just makes things with her feel like it's a growing and different relationship than it has been. And I just appreciate like the change in that way. So it doesn't feel like I have the same mom I did growing up. No, like I am older, so she should also be growing and be different than she was when I was growing.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Say it one more
Yes.
time. I love that.
I love
it.
that. I feel like all of our relationships with our moms honestly just grow every day. Like I feel like one thing that me and my mom like has been on good terms with for a very long time, and it wasn't like that growing up, is our communication with each other. Like I feel like we communicate in a way that I never thought would be possible, that me and her could communicate, because I feel like we had just a hard time sometimes when it came down to certain stuff, like about like, other things like with school or just kid stuff like that I'll be getting in trouble for. But
girl, it's so crazy that you're saying kid stuff, but literally it was kid stuff, but it felt so like that
like
for
real,
real,
like
that serious.
I swear, in that moment you're like, oh my God, my life is over.
And so one of my prayers as a mother, I think this is a good way to conclude it. One of your hopes and ambitions or goals as a mother, but one of my greatest prayers as a mother is to never forget what it felt like to be young. I feel like a lot of our mothers got stuck in survival mode. And in survival mode, you can only focus on what is right now, here in the present, and what you're fearful of happening again. You cannot remember what it felt like to be in a different place because you're trying to survive the moment that you're in right here and now. My greatest prayer is that I never forget what it's like to be young, because the only way that I can parent my child or the children that I bring into my life, whether through my own flesh or not, is for me to be able to meet them where they're at. Because you can't bring somebody to where you are if they've never been there yet. A lot of our moms talk to us as if we were already supposed to get it. But that's literally impossible. I ain't never been 20-something. Quite literally, I just turned 15. Work with me here. But yes, I think that's very, very, very important. And then also, you're supposed to grow as a whole. So Deek's point of acknowledging her mother's growth, I think it's very admirable. Another thing, this is more so to the children and not the moms. Moms, please continue to grow for yourself. But children, please acknowledge that even if you had some points of contention in your adolescence, in your relationship with your mother, that if they are here and they're trying, they're bettering themselves, allow them to do that, because you'd hate for somebody to talk about the way you acted when you was 13 and you're 26. That's all I want to say. Okay? Now, as we wrap up this episode, I just want to remind everyone to take the time to honor the mothers in their lives, whether it be your biological mother, whether it be your adopted mother, whether it be your mother in spirit, or a mother figure that you've met in the workplace or on the train. Child, the moms be everywhere. Take the time to honor them. And moms, we love y'all, but y'all get this day and every day out the year. So we are going to take the time to continue to honor you, because we are so incredibly grateful for all the things that you do and have done. And I think one last acknowledgement of, no matter what road we took to get here, we would not be who we are today without your contribution. So thank you. And we love y'all. And with that, it's a wrap, y'all. Love y'all. Bye. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, guys. Enjoy your day, please, and thank.
Yes, flowers, flowers, kisses, kisses. Mwah.
Thanks for hanging with us on Group Chat Calling. Ready to make it official? Join the group and be part of the convo every Wednesday. Hit that follow button so you never miss a call. Catch you next week.